G'day guys, welcome back to Aussie Arvos. You may be wondering, why is the patrol up in the air instead of down on the ground? Well, you know how in the last video I may have mentioned the indestructible driveline? The driveline's pretty much unbreakable. About the day after that, the auto sort of stopped working. So, we're here at Bayswater Auto Care with James. He's going to give us a chop out. Legend has come along to give us a hand pulling the auto out, so let's get into it. James is here to start trouble with the Nissan fans. He's a Hilux boy. He rocked up like 10 minutes late and I'm like, oh, the Hilux wouldn't start this morning. So, while we're on the subject of pulling out the auto, we went to start the car so we had power steering to back it into the workshop and found that the starter is no longer working either. Not ideal, is it? Probably my fault. I degreased the underside of the car a couple of days ago in order to make pulling the auto out less messy, but now the starter does not engage. So no matter, because we have to take the starter off to get the auto out anyway. So we'll do that while we're there. Lex. Lex, James. Huh? You don't get that from a Hilux. Hey, James.
No.
I was going to say, should we put power on that and see if it does start?
You got that out quick, better than I expected.
It's very loose because it's the newest part of the car, see? Oh wow, long ratchet spanner.
Yeah.
Splash.
We'll be able to afford it one day once you've done fixing the patrol. You're not going to stop.
No, that's alright. No, that's good. No. Because it means if you're going to keep making patrol jokes, I'm not going to feel bad about making Hilux jokes. Someone's got to do it. Keep these Hilux owners in line. Put them in their place. I'm taking off the auto cooler lines, which run from the front of the car down the side of the sump rail there to the auto. And we're taking them off because they're hard lines and they run under here across the transpan.
Yeah. I didn't have Milwaukee's bloody electric impact guns when I was an apprentice.
That's because I didn't have electricity back then.
I'm only, what, 7 years older than you?
You know, my generation, we have a very...
You got a car that's older than you.
We have a very vague concept of what happened before we were around. I have 3 cars that are older than me. I had the decision the other day that if I sold my VE, everything would be 80s, which is not a bad thing. That's a lovely car.
It's definitely bad. Which would suggest that the pump has cooked itself.
Which way are we going, boss? Oh no, it's going to be a great flood.
Oh, well, that's definitely metallic. Well, at least my floor's not going to rust.
Are you going to pay me for that? Because that's detergent. That's going to get the oil off your floor. Yeah. You should be thanking me.
But what about half the metal that's in it?
Come on, James. There's no metal in this. This auto is in excellent condition, I think. So that's the oil cooler line removed. The first step to make sure you do is to get ATF on the floor now, that way you don't have to worry about doing it later. Next, we will be removing the drive shafts, both front and rear, and then selectors, breathers, and we'll be getting ready to remove the gearbox. Ah, that trick had happened.
There you got that on camera.
You may be wondering how I keep my mullet so luscious. Mostly oil leaks. Alright, we got the drive shafts next?
Yeah, drive shafts.
Who let the handbrake off?
No.
Oh, no.
Bit of grease pressure.
She blew her nipples.
Interesting side note on that one. How many people over-grease drive shafts?
A lot. And then they go out bush and wonder why their transseal starts leaking.
Yeah, so what you find is this is a slip joint in the back of the drive shaft with a grease nipple. What are you normally, 1 or 2 pumps max?
Yeah, 1 or 2.
You want to...
People think it's like a uni joint where you want to see grease come out.
So once you see grease already coming out of this seal at the back here, you've pressurized the slip joint to the point where it's basically acting like a hydraulic cylinder.
Yeah.
And then you overload your diff seals, your gearbox seals, and your unis.
And you wreck your pinions and all sorts.
It's all sorts of damage. So you want to grease it, but you don't want to pressurize it. It's not like
1 to 2 pumps. These I'll do until you see grease ooze out, but them it's 1 to 2 pumps.
Yeah. The unis are good. Look at that thing. Look at that drive shaft. Yeah. Is that over-engineered?
Yeah. I've still seen him twist.
With that in front of it?
Only when you didn't it.
I'll try and avoid that. So is this coming off now?
Yeah. Yeah.
See how many handbrakies this fella did. Oh, look at that. Those are just lovely.
Yeah, mate.
Seeing as you're a Toyota fan, do you want to maybe take a picture or some notes on a handbrake that works?
Oh, well, you know, like...
You could take it back and then teach the others. And then the whole village could have a handbrake that works.
I'm seeing a problem with working on cars with Dan. I've got short legs. And,
I've got long legs. Look at this. Look what I'm doing here. See this?
Oh, lucky son.
I have my legs permanently spread. Don't misinterpret that.
Is that how you get pay rises or what? Or is that your other filming job? Oh, jeez.
I leave my OnlyFans out of it. How do you think I afford these things? Now what I will say, no matter how uncomfortable you make the height of this hoist, it's still more comfortable than being on the floor. You can't get enough length out of the cable.
Would you be mad if I cut it?
Yes. I'm used to a handbrake, see?
Real?
Have a quieter one of them by any chance?
Stealing the brake bar.
So you want to use my breaker bar to help me fix my car. The audacity of some people, you know? Look at him.
See, I didn't even have to...
Hercules over here. Every car brake drum ever, it's not a matter of if you're going to swear at it, it's how much you're going to swear at it. And generally, someone's been there before you and done it all wrong. If you're watching me do this and thinking that's the wrong way to do it,
leave it in the comments.
you're probably right. I'm just too lazy to climb in the car and undo it up there. We have disconnected a handbrake cable.
Patrick can edit it to make it look like it was only a minute.
Yes. Edit that.
Wow, Dan, you did that excessively quick.
Thanks, James. What
No
can I
worries.
say? How's that? Is that actually, now that I've undone that cable,
Does it actually pull through?
I think it's actually fixed.
Is it really?
I think so. Yeah. Anyway, so now we're going to disconnect the other end.
It can't be, because that's got to be a replaceable part, surely.
Yeah, but it's not. Oh, is that a clip? Hang on.
You haven't been full driving with me yet.
I have not. Mostly because I'm terrified
alright.
you're going to be better at it. Because I know you're going to be better at it.
I wouldn't say that. I just like a lot of right foot and
Yeah, that. You should see his Hilux.
it's a little bit insane. I'm just in awe of how much money you must be earning to afford these things.
I bought that toolkit when I started my apprenticeship. I bought it cheap, alright? That was the point. Yeah. It's like a circle without any way of undoing it.
Can you edit out pulling this apart?
Yeah.
We'll move on with removing the gearbox. That's into the auto, yeah?
Yeah.
Tell it.
Delicious.
Modern has wires going to the auto. Well, I've got to put the car down, undo 2 wires, release the handbrake from the top in the car, which is where you do it from. Take notes. Undo that exhaust mount, find a way to rotate the engine, pull the converter bolts, and then we should be good to undo the last few balancing bolts and drop the auto out. So before you pull an auto out, you should always pull the torque converter out with the gearbox. So it is possible to undo the gearbox and slip it off the torque converter, off the input shaft, but it's nasty, and if you want to reuse the seal, you will destroy it on the way out. So always undo the converter from the flex plate and take it out with the gearbox. So what we're doing here is, I've got a bar on the front of the motor, which is a bit hard to get at, but we've managed. So we can turn the crank over. Before you do that with anything, pull off a coil lead and the battery negative, but coil lead just to be safe. Then we're turning the motor over by hand, just to get access to the bolts that hold the converter to the flex plate, so we can undo those. There's 4 of them on these, and then we'll drop the whole assembly off the back of the motor.
Just.
Can I make it more convenient by going either way?
Depends which way you swing.
It's rare that I find someone that's as bad with these jokes as me.
There's one, sir.
Wow.
Yeah, sure.
That is tiny. 4 of those is what makes the car go forward.
Uh-oh. Someone already butchered that one.
Oh, blaming someone else. Come on. Did that come out?
Oh, spaghetti-o.
It's not all we want to hear. That's either a really good sound or a really bad sound, depending on whether you're doing the bolt up or undoing it.
It's when you make a tight bolt become a loose bolt.
Yeah.
That's when you...
When your gun goes from ugga dugga dugga to vroom. You know you've dug it one too many.
There we go, you hear that little clunk. I'll go down, I'll let you do the handbrake.
That is what you call return on investment. This car has just earned me 4 cents. That's 4 cents off the total cost.
So what are you doing in there, Dan?
I'm taking the center console out. Well, not out. I'm loosening the center console to get to the handbrake cable. Because it turns out you cannot undo it from the gearbox. You can, but it's hard. So we're going to undo it here instead.
Oh.
James!
We found
I found some scary stuff. You know how I said there's some alarm wiring under here? There's a lot of alarm wiring.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm kind of scared to touch any of that. Where does it all go? You know how I said there was a circuit board in the center console?
Oh, Jesus.
There's a lot of circuit boards in the center console.
That screams 1980s computer.
It does, doesn't it? It's probably like all the computing power of something like this big now. That's the funny part.
Should ask the viewers if anyone knows what the code for that could be.
Oh yeah, I didn't mention that.
If you get the code and it works, you get the car.
No, that's not how it works.
That's how it works.
I haven't tried 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm actually scared to push buttons on it.
000?
I don't want to push buttons on it, James. What if I push all the buttons and like the windscreen shatters or something? I don't know what this thing does. Look at it.
What if we find out that it's kit and you have a little red light flashing on your car?
That would be cool. Okay.
Where would you like to go today, Dan?
Let's actually do what we were here to do. I know we all like pretending the car's kit just because we found some wiring.
I like how you took the suggestive magnets off.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Got milk, Dan?
Those are stuck to my roof now. Not really. God.
Nah, come
Get off the roof, you two. Come on. What's to go once we pull the box off the back of the motor? What holds the back of the motor?
Probably rested in the firewall.
Oh, James, it's a classic car. Why?
Just give it more clearance.
Can we use that to prop the back of the motor?
Usually I just put a block of wood here.
Do you have a specially shaped block of wood for just this situation? Here's one I prepared earlier.
I mean, that might be enough.
That's the steering arm. What happens when we go to drive it into the car park and turn?
The engine's gonna fall out.
I don't particularly want to do that. What about a ratchet strap from chassis rail to chassis rail? Hey there.
What are you doing?
Is it in yet?
That sounds like an issue only you would have.
Oh, I thought you'd be used to hearing it.
Viewer discretion in these videos may contain traces of back crack.
That's why I'm wearing overalls. I thought you were going to advise viewer discretion on the ratchet strapping. This is verging on being too safe.
Really concerned about your firewall, aren't you?
Yes. It's delicate. It's a relic.
Control.
It's been loved its whole life. You can't put a dent in the firewall now. Probably pull the gearbox out and there's already one there.
Alright.
Oh yeah. Look at that. That is a big gearbox.
The flywheel's been gouged out by the starter motor a fair bit.
Maybe that's why the starter motor was replaced.
Yeah.
Might have been not thrown properly. That is a bit of a concern being an auto, isn't it? You can't roll start it.
Oh, if I want to get stuck in Cape York with that bloody auto.
It'd make for a good thumbnail.
I don't think there's a Bayswater auto kit up here, though.
No. Oh, it's ring out. You do call outs, don't you? Aha.
I think this might already be a rebuilt box. Well, I mean, that's been a part before. Nissan wouldn't do that.
No.
That's like a Toyota thing.
I make the Toyota jokes around here, alright, buddy? Because that is definitely like from a Records or something, isn't it?
Or it's a reconditioned one.
Well, it is quite shiny. I don't want to sound like an idiot and say it's shiny, but it is shiny. It doesn't sound like a tambourine, so that's a good start. You reckon the pumps let go?
When the seals let go and it can't build pressure in the torque converter.
It doesn't seem wet around the battle around there, so maybe it's this, which is straight into the pump.
Worth pulling it off?
I think so. So, obviously we've got the gearbox out of the car. And obviously we've got the gearbox out of the car, and we are now removing the transfer case from the back of the auto before we try and work out what's wrong with the auto itself. So we're going to take the transfer case off, because obviously there's a lot of weight sitting in that I don't particularly need to be lugging around while working on the auto. So we're going to strip that off the back of it and go from there. Are we ready?
I'm as ready as what you would be, I guess.
I'm always ready.
Well, I guess I'm ready then.
There you go. Just as soon as I finish.
I heard you're only 20 seconds.
The jokes just keep coming.
Someone's going to wind up you at some
I'm
point.
20 seconds and you're already done. What's that saying about you?
I think you've got more weight than what I do.
I thought you had more weight than I did. Where are we going now?
Just here.
Hold my box, alright? Is that going to fall off?
Question, do I hold it with 2 fingers or one?
Whole goddamn hand.
Jack the dead blow hammer, the orange one, and then we may have to follow it up with the blue one.
Okay, he's just prepared.
Bring the blue one. I was only joking. Oh yes.
Yuck, that looks metallic. Don't worry about the
Oh, it
hammer.
just popped. Oh, I don't want to drop that drum. I'll just keep pulling, it's too late now.
that drum.
That's all your clutch packs in there. We really don't want to start pulling that apart.
Why are you terrified of it?
Because there's a big spring behind there that's going to hit us in the face.
No spring.
There's a band there.
Multiple springs, actually.
Jesus, that band's a bit worn out.
Okay. What about we put the pump back in and I take it home? Because it's going to end up midnight if we start doing more shit.
Oh, let's just have a look at this pump again. Oh, Jesus, that's a bit more than I was. It's got these little rollers. These always fascinate me.
Don't drop them. Do not let those fall out. Well, every time I try and do that, they all fall out on the floor.
Look at that.
Yeah. Precision. It'd be better if it worked. Very good. That's in. I'm a fan of that.
Oh, I didn't really see anything worn out in there apart from it's got a really cool bearing.
Which still rolls, so that mustn't be the problem.
Yeah. I can just see you put it on Facebook. Hey, look! And it's just transmission in a million pieces.
Yeah, that's what I do.
I don't think you're going to be able to leave it alone.
No, I'll be up till midnight tonight. Just, and then I'll wake up in the morning and forget how it went back together. Thanks.
Feel good?
Auto's out. It's over there now. It's still broken, except now it's there. So we've got the auto out, thanks to James. Obviously for use of the hoist and his labour, and workshop. It's been awesome. Saves
The oily floor.
and the oily floor. Saves a lot of lying on my back swearing at a car. So auto's out. Tomorrow morning we are going to work out what is wrong with it, hopefully. So yeah, we'll see how we go tomorrow, find out how bad it is, if I can fix it, and we'll go from there.